welcome to The Public Good. This is Dejia James with Partnership for the Public Good, or PPG, which unites over 365 community organizations working to build a better Buffalo. We're delighted to join you every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. on Power 96.5 FM and Mix 1080 a.m. You can also watch full video of every show on our YouTube page. Follow PPG Buffalo on Facebook and Instagram for more information on how to access the full video and podcast of our show. And of course, you can always get great information on our website, ppgbuffalo.org. Today, we are joined by Yesenia Canales, VISTA Program Manager with the Service Collaborative of Western New York. She is here to discuss workforce development, educational access, and community service, all very large buckets. But first, I just want you to introduce yourself, let people know where you come from and who you are.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show today. My name is Yesenia Canales. I am the VISTA Program Manager with the Service Collaborative of Western New York. I have a bachelor's in political science. I'm from Long Island, New York, so not from Buffalo, but Buffalo has definitely become my home. I've been here since 2017. Doesn't look like I'm leaving anytime soon, but
Yeah.
I'm really excited to be here and talk about the work that I've been doing so far.
Yeah, that's what Western New York does. It wraps us in and just keeps everyone here. I am from here, but I think almost half of the guests that I interview are like from New York City and maybe came here for college and ended up staying.
The chicken wings get you, I'm telling you.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't know how you feel about our pizza, but anyway, we won't get into that debate on here. But I want to know how you found out about the Service Collaborative. Obviously, you came here for college and other things like that, and you settled here. But how did you figure out you wanted to work here, or how did you find out about the Service Collaborative?
Yeah, so I came to Buffalo in 2017, and then, I was finishing college during the pandemic. When it hit, I was really lost in kind of what I wanted to do. There really was a lot of barriers to even access to internships or, externships because of the pandemic. It shut so many opportunities down.
Yeah.
And it was also really hard for me to even get in the community because those things were at a standstill.
Yeah.
So during that time, a friend introduced me to AmeriCorps, and I didn't know anything about it, didn't really know what it could be and what it can turn into. But I found a position with the New York Immigration Coalition where we met, doing marketing and outreach VISTA. And from there, I did 1 year. And then I was actually asked by one of my other coworkers to come on to their Service Collaborative as a VISTA leader. During that time, I was liaison and guide to about 30 members in different programs across Western New York and also in a few states, California, Seattle, Ohio. And I helped them as they progressed their program. And I, created like that mentorship with them to see what their goals were. And it really just solidified the fact that I want to stay in the nonprofit sector. And then after a year, I was asked to stay on for a program manager position, and now I'm here.
That's really awesome. And as you mentioned, we met at the New York Immigration Coalition because that was your placement at the time. And it really was a unique place to work for me. And I worked there, conventionally, not through the VISTA program. But I'm wondering your experience with the VISTA program and getting such a unique placement like that, being able to work with such a unique organization that does advocacy for immigration. I don't know if that was something you were interested in before, or if it kind of put you into a whole new space. Do you value kind of that experience of being put into something that maybe you weren't aware of before?
Yeah, I will say I definitely did not know what I signed up for. I, similar to what an internship I thought would be, I didn't know how hands-on it would be. I didn't know how robust the program was, but it was life-changing for me. I got to see so much of Buffalo, so much of what the community's impacted had to go through, and, just how policy legislation was really changing the political sphere in Buffalo. Yeah. And I got to work on really great campaigns and, help access to resources and hold events and fundraisers and really get thrown into the work, which before, during my college career, I really felt that I was never really able to do those things.
Right.
Being first generation and not having, as much access as, my other people in class.
Yeah.
Can't think of the word right now.
Yeah.
But, there was just a lot of things that I felt I was lacking in, and, the many opportunities weren't open to me at that time. So doing this, I was able to network. I was able to get mentorship. I was able to see other people who've been in my predicament and see how far they can excel into this work and see the change in real time, how it's happening with like the Green Line Project or language to language access. Yeah. It was just really empowering, especially there was all women, as you remember. Yep. It was mostly an organization of women from here to New York City who were just really leading the way into, into these movements and seeing that, I felt that I could take these things on. Before, it was in the shadows, little here or there on social media of like being that person that respects it. But now I was that person who was in the front lines. And that really changed the way I saw these things and the way I saw that access could open up. And I think the AmeriCorps program does that in such a great way, because they go through so many facets of different programming with healthy futures, poverty alleviation, digital equity divide, bridging that gap. So it was a really exciting time for me. And they allow you to do so in a way that you can push yourself as much as you want to, but they'll also help you along the way. They'll also see what potential you have and kind of, push you to be a leader and to push you to be an advocate for yourself and others around you. Yeah.
And you mentioned how empowering it was, one, to be placed in a place where there were powerful women, but I'm wondering just what the makeup and diversity of your actual other vistas were when you were in the program, because you guys met like every Friday or once a month or something like that, also within your cohort as well. It's not just about where you're placed, but also your relationship with each other as vistas as well, right?
Yeah, so in that cohort, we're about 50 different people, and ranging
all
from
in Western New York?
Western New York City, and some in New Jersey. So our positions were remote.
Yeah.
Currently, in my role, we have members who are across the country.
Yeah.
And it's really, the demographic is a lot of women, a lot of people of color, and it's really great to see like young people in their career trying to figure it out. But you also have a lot of people who are transitioning into, going back into the workforce, or have never been in the workforce. They've never even had a desk job, so they want to get their foot in the door. So, all these programs, it builds, you get to meet with your cohort, you get to talk to each other about the struggles you may face together, but at the same time, that you have this guidance and mentorship within the program to succeed wherever you want it, whether it's in communications work, whether it's in volunteer recruitment or management, whether it's direct or indirect service. Our programs all kind of strive for that.
Yeah, and I do want to highlight, because after you left your term with us as a Vista, we got another Vista who was a man who was in his middle age. I mean, it's not just for younger people, but it also can be for people seeking a career change, or maybe just a different experience than maybe the where they were before. And so I think that's really awesome too, that it's not really just for young people, but for anybody trying to seek out new job experience.
Yeah, I will say my favorite members are my older members. I think the oldest we had so far is 70 years old. They're coming back into their career path. They took a long break and they're like, I want to get my foot in the door. I want to help and give back to the community where I live, or, learn about communities and see what they need. And, through service, they get to explore and expand that and really put their foot in the door. And we've had really great reviews of the program itself and how people have excelled afterwards. A majority of my members currently go on to either get hired onto their sites, or they go on to higher education, law school, PhD programs. We've had one who became an executive director of her program, very new. So it was really exciting.
Yeah.
And it's nice for me to see that growth in them, to see, coming into the program, being really weary of what it could be, and then coming out of it, leading meetings, leading projects, doing the research for grants, winning grants. We've had members who've won grants that are over millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And that goes directly to the communities that they serve. And it's really nice to see that.
No, that's amazing. I think it gives such an opportunity, especially like you said, with COVID and being in the post-COVID world, or whatever that is, because it did change the opportunities that we had when it was already difficult to try and get that initial experience. Like I said, whether you're younger, try to get initial experience, or whether you're trying to make a career change and get initial experience, it's really hard to break into certain areas. And so having this program that gives you a guaranteed year placement to gain knowledge and experience and foster your skills and grow is a really really awesome opportunity. And not only does it kind of give you that personal workforce development, but it also gives you kind of educational opportunity as well. The other thing I know about the AmeriCorps program is that they give you that stipend towards either debt from school, or whether you want to put it towards going to school right then or something like that. So I don't know if you could explain a little bit more about what that stipend is.
Yeah, so once you complete a year of service, you're eligible for an education award. Right now, it's about $6,800. That can go towards any Title IV institution loans, so any federal loans, student loans, and that could be for previous loans, or it could be for if you want to continue education, or if you want to go into different programs. And as long as they have that Title within them, you're able to do so.
Yeah.
So even, different types of schools, apprenticeships are able for it.
Wow.
And we've had a lot of our members who, they might have just have their associates or maybe their bachelors who never really considered going back in further education. But now that they have that, it's, it's a safety, especially with given the climate and everything going on, they're able to do that with a safety net that they're able to excel in those fields.
Right.
And also we have schools of national service where it's across the country from private institutions to public institutions that will either match their scholarship of the education award or give them their own one or waive fees or give housing.
Yeah.
So there's so much opportunity that before that they might not have known of that is now available to them just for doing 1 year of service.
Yeah. And I know people who have just doubled up and done 2 years and paid off a whole semester or whatever they had to do, or a whole year rather, if you go to state school or something like that. But it's really just so useful. I have family members personally who've done it. I've had friends like you who've done it. I feel like I'm missing out because I still haven't done it, but
you can always do a year with me.
Exactly. So I think that's just a wonderful opportunity. I don't know if everybody knows about it. So I hope listeners are able to kind of hear about the AmeriCorps program and wondering about your placements. Are they always placed kind of in a nonprofit type of setting? Just wondering what that's about, like as well for listeners.
So we have different partners. We have educational institutions. We have private ones. We have housing authorities, different nonprofits that work in different fields. So, it's really up to you and what you want to do. We have from the Western New York Land Conservancy to MAP to Independent Health. Yeah. UB, we currently have a member serving there. Yeah. Then we have our state cross-country partners in LA doing the housing work. Yeah. And they're working to bridge the digital divide between, the community and people living in poverty. Right. So depending on where your focus area is or where you just want to step in the door, we can place you there. Yeah. And we help you every step of the way. So when you go to the program, you're giving a VISTA leader, which is the role I took on last year of a guide and mentor. And you also have access to myself, the program manager and the executive director. We work directly with you to see what your goals are and just exactly what you want to do. And every month we give professional development training. All our programs at the Service Collaborative give professional development training. It's always hands-on. It's always, it's at your own pace. And we really want to see you just thrive wherever you may be.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And it's not just where you guys reach out to places or already have partnerships, but I've seen organizations be able to reach out to you and ask for if they can have a VISTA at their program as well. So for anybody who's listening who maybe works at an organization or runs even an organization who maybe wants a VISTA, how do they get in contact with you all so that they can get a VISTA placement at their location of work?
Yeah, they can reach out either directly to myself or to my executive director. Every year we recruit for new partners. We're always looking to expand our program and expand our reach and the opportunities that we can give back to the community for. So if anyone's listening and wants to join, just email us. Mine is ycanales@tscwny.org. But we're always looking to, build partnerships and collaborate with whatever it may be. And also go to community events too. We love being invited to community events. We love being a part of the community and, showing up and being a part of it.
Yeah. And you have a lot more. I know we talked a lot about the AmeriCorps VISTA program, but there's a lot of other things the Service Collaborative does as well. So I just want to do a quick overview of what are some of the other programs that you have, because you do a lot of things. Like you said, it's the Service Collaborative. So you service the community in a lot of different ways. So what are those other type of programs that you have?
Yeah, so the Service Collaborative, they act as a catalyst for service across Western New York. We have about 6 different programs. We have the Youth Build program, which helps youth get their GED and then, certified in whether it's like OSHA or construction management and things like that. We have our ABLE program, which is AmeriCorps Building Lives Through Education, which they're working with youth through K through 12, and they're directly in the schools. We have EOC, which is an Economic Opportunity Corps, which they're helping with the bridging financial literacy and, giving back to those programs. And that's direct service. So, they're right client facing. We also have Program Plus, which is our accounting and financing, which helps nonprofits, big or small, with bookkeeping, accounting, any grant management work as well. So we have a lot of different programs, a lot of great work. We have over 1,000 members every year who graduate. And we also have our Beds for Buffalo, which provides families in need with beds every single year. Wow. And that's where our corporate partners come in and they do a day of service. They get to see, they had to help with the Youth Build participants and build these beds from the ground up So it's really nice.
You do have the day of service. I forgot about that, that you all do. I think I've participated once or twice before.
Yeah.
No.
They're every week. So if everyone, and you can come and just volunteer.
Yeah.
And even just like, go to our partners and see what they're doing with the work. But we always love when people come and volunteer their time and get to know about these projects and the communities that we help.
No, I mean, especially with the holiday season coming up, I know a lot of people always look for service opportunities for their organization or as a team building activity to give back. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity for anybody listening. If they're like in a workplace who's looking to do some service work or something like that, definitely reach out to the Service Collaborative to see what kind of initiatives you guys are going to have going on into the holiday season, but also year round. I mean, you can do it anytime.
We do it year round, 365 days a year.
Yeah.
So, we're always looking for people to come and, join our little family, as we call it.
The building the beds thing is really interesting to me. I mean, it's such a specific need that I don't think people would talk about or think about. So I think that that's really cool. The other thing I didn't know you all did was that you were in the school system with the K through 12 also. I think people forget, or especially in terms of like workforce and even financial literacy and other things like that, that, we don't think about children and trying to train them and understanding their responsibilities that are upcoming. It's really nice being a kid and not having any of those responsibilities, but learning about what opportunities are, or even what different jobs are out there. Because I think a lot of the times, and I don't know if this is your experience, but I didn't know all of the different jobs that people actually have. Like I just knew doctor, lawyer, or practical jobs you see, like somebody working at a grocery store or something, but you don't know all of these other things that people have the ability to do, let alone people who look like you maybe doing those things. So it's really hard. I'm wondering, as a woman of color entering this program, seeing this diversity, being able to be placed somewhere where you're seeing women leading the work and things like that, how important do you think that is in influencing not just youth, like I said, coming in, but even middle-aged people seeking a career change or anything like that? How important is that representation and like the programs that the Service Collaborative have?
I think it's vital. I think, these opportunities for a long time were not allotted to people of color, and especially women of color as well. These are things that, like you said, we think about doctors, lawyers, and kind of things that are so unattainable. And we don't think about the possibility of how we get our foot in the door other than, generational wealth or whatever it may be. And I think this, like even our mission statement is like, we are working towards like breaking down any barriers and resolving it no matter what. That's right on our mission statement of the work that we do. And I think it's so important, especially with the community that we service, in Buffalo. It's so diverse. And every time I get people who don't know about the program, I'm really excited about it because they kind of light up, and it doesn't matter what age or where they are in their career path, that they see this is something so attainable and so achievable. And I think that's the best part is that, because you're coming into it and we help you through beginning to end, you're able to see your growth in a way that maybe before that you were kind of scared to. I think for me, especially, I never understood how to reach out for mentorship or how to reach out for internships or just, associations. Like there was never those, no one ever showed me those things. So to kind of go out in the world and look for the things, it's scary. And I think, when you don't know or you don't see someone who looks like you, represents your community doing the work, it could be a deterrent. And I think with the program itself, seeing these doorways open is really nice and it's really empowering. And I would do it all over again. I think for me, like the pandemic or anything, I would go back and do it again. I think there are so many things, even now myself, I'm still learning as I'm doing recruitment and training. Like I said before, we do professional development trainings once a month. And for me, I'm still learning. I'm still learning from my members. I'm still learning how to be a better advocate, a better leader, a better, member of society and in my community. So I love it. I don't know. I love the work, and I think it's great. It expands
your personality and like your own kind of workforce abilities and things of that nature. I think it's really awesome how it grows and stretches people who are able to get in contact with the program or participate in the program. I'm wondering also, like you mentioned before, you not being from Western New York, I'm sure the pandemic made it 10 times worse, but also just being in a new area, not knowing who to reach out to or how to go about it. I'm wondering just what you've taken away from your short time in Western New York and participating with the Service Collaborative, what you've learned about here and what you kind of admire about maybe the workforce here or even community action here, things like that? Like, what do you think of that landscape?
I will say, you know, that was a very scary thing to overcome. I think with anything, moving somewhere new, you're not unsure of. The snow is always a little bit wild.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know how to handle it right away.
Yeah.
I think even going to the Service Collaborative, that's where I really solidified my place and feeling like I belonged. They did a really great job of like showing me all parts of the city and all different demographics and different ways of living. And I think it just shows Buffalo itself. You know, Buffalo is resilient and they're always striving to be better. And I think it was a great opportunity for me to just push myself out there. And with these programs, that's the way it works, is you're in the community, you're directly in the community doing the work to alleviate poverty or like, you know, bridge the gap between financial literacy or education or the digital divide. So it pushes you to kind of be uncomfortable for a little bit, but then you learn so much because of it.
Yeah. No, and I'm wondering also, you know, you guys already have such a great reach in the population here, but if there's any like further, you know, dream projects or dream, you know, collaborations you would want. Like, I don't know if you envision anything further for your program particularly, but even just something you personally want to get involved in that you've seen, like what kind of aspirations do you have moving forward? I mean, it seems like you've already discovered a whole part of your career goals that you maybe wouldn't have discovered without participating in the first place, but just wondering if you have any other goals or things.
And it's funny, we're just talking about like our goals for the year, and my biggest goal is just to get the word out about AmeriCorps and these programs that we have, and you know, have those barriers to the community kind of dissipate in the next like 5 to 10 years. And, 'cause I think that's the biggest thing, is that not a lot of people know about the program, and if you do, it's more word of the mouth. But I kind of want to be where like everyone knows about it. Everyone at one time in their life, if they want to commit a year of service, feels that they can, and feels that, you know, this is something that will be life changing and will help them grow wherever, you know, fast as they want, whether education or their careers. So that's my goal. We're trying to work that out. It's a big goal, but you know, expanding our reach and really getting out in the community and building those partnerships is currently where I vision this to be in the next couple of years.
No, that's awesome. And I want to get into how people can get involved now, right? So I know you're currently kind of taking applications for the next year's placements. I'm just wondering, what's that process like? What are the qualifications people need to be able to apply? And when it kind of some of those deadlines are, things like that, so people can know. Yeah.
So the great thing about our programs is we're recruiting all year round. So it depends on, you know, where you are and where you want to do. Currently for my program, we're recruiting for October 24th start dates, and we have about 10 to 15 partners right now in Western New York and across the nation. And different ones, Independent Health is one of the partners, MAP, UB. So it depends on where your range is. But in our other programs, we're always recruiting. The information's right on our site, but we're always willing to have like informational calls. We do a lot of informational sessions. You're always welcome to come to our offices. It's just about calling. You know, I think the best, easiest way is calling or emailing. We're always looking to expand our reach and get more members.
And so you said how people can kind of see what type of placements or maybe areas they want to go into work. Does the application show like a list of your sites, or how do people know what's available for them to maybe find something they're interested in?
Yeah, we list all our opportunity listings right on our website. And then we also send out emails with any updates.
Okay, great. So then people can kind of sign up to like a newsletter type of thing to get, that's really awesome. I'm wondering also what the actual process is. Like, you apply, then what? Like, you reach out, do they do interviews? Do they interview with the site and you? What's that process like? Like, break it down.
So every program is a little bit different. My program, you apply. As soon as you put an application in, we see it. I call you, we do a small interview, and the interviews, you know, we're just making sure that you know the program, the requirements, that it's for you. And we also want to see what your goals are and see what your best fit is. And then from there, you just usually interview with the host site that you're going to be into, or sometimes you get passed along right away. But it's a pretty simple process. You know, the application on eGrants is probably the longest process, but that's okay. And we help you through all steps. So whether it's filling out the form, you know, if you don't have access to a laptop or a phone, we're always willing to do whatever we can to get you into the program. And I can say the same for like all of our programs as well. They're all a little different with their requirements, but most are 18 plus.
Okay. And to be clear, the different programs, because there's a couple different workforce specific programs. So yours is the AmeriCorps VISTA, which we talk
AmeriCorps
about
VISTA.
kind of more extensively. And then what are the other ones that people can, like ones just for youth, or are there some that have age limits or something like that? Or
Our youth build is for members who are 18 to 24, so
Okay.
there is a gap.
Okay.
And it has different requirements that we'll talk about on the site.
Yeah.
But our other programs are all 18 plus.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's really no requirements
Yeah.
to the program. You don't need a college degree or anything. It's just about willingness to serve your community.
Do they need a high school diploma? Just wondering.
Some, not all.
Some, not
It
all.
depends on the sites,
Yeah.
our partnerships mostly, just depending on the work and what it may be, but usually not all.
No, that's awesome. So it's really, there's an opportunity for everybody at all different kind of levels or educational attainment. You're really trying to make sure that there's accessibility for every single person that could possibly be in the community of different backgrounds, which I think is awesome. I really appreciate this conversation just as two women of color.
Yeah.
Obviously, we met in a workplace where we were both still figuring out our careers. And I'm just so happy to see where we're at now, to be honest with you. It's really cool to have you on the show because you are my personal friend. But we did meet in this kind of innocuous way of just you being in this program and being placed at such a really unique organization. Because I don't think even prior to my joining NYC, I knew anything about advocacy or some of those things. So it grew and stretched me as well. So I just want to reiterate to listeners that you really can get an experience, even if you don't know what placement you want, like take the chance, right? Of just finding someplace and giving it a shot. I mean, you never know what you're going to learn. I'm sure you didn't know you were going to end up at the Service Collaborative after and all this, but it gave you another opportunity that you maybe wouldn't have had if you never
I will
took
say
that
if you
chance.
have any small interest in any of our opportunities, just take it. We've had people who've come from, different career backgrounds. We've had one member who was a videographer all his life. He never really got into advocacy. He was politically engaged, but nothing like that.
Yeah.
And now he got hired on to his site, and he's working on bridging the digital divide in Seattle,
That's
which is
so
really cool.
Yeah.
And he loved it. He came from not even knowing how to really, set up like a work meeting. Like he would ask, how do you do these things?
Yeah.
Like, what's the proper communication methods? Like, we really start from wherever you are and really try to push you to be the best version of yourself and whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah, so if you're seeking, a change, or you're younger and you don't know how to get into the workforce, please, please, please look up the Service Collaborative of Western New York, sign up on their website, look up at the programs, and just apply. Take that chance because you never know. And it seems like they really are willing to give any and everybody a chance. So I just want to thank you so much for joining me. This was so fun.
Me.
This is Dejia James with Partnership for the Public Good, or PPG, uniting over 365 organizations working to build a better Buffalo. Join us next week, where I will be joined by my colleague, Professor Steve Peraza, in a discussion about the racial politics behind Afro-Latinos to kick off our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. It's the Public Good, Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. on Power 96.5 FM and Mix 1080 a.m.